Hello, my name is Lynn Mayer, and I'm here to talk to you today about stress and stress management. This work is funded by the Health Resources and Services Administration of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So today we're going to talk about stress. First, we're going to define some of our terms. We're going to talk about the body's response to stress. We're going to try to identify some signs and symptoms of poor stress management and discuss lifestyle strategies that can help us managing stress, including a healthful diet and exercise, and some coping skills and resources that are available. This is an important topic for us as caretakers, both to be able to identify and recognize stress in the people that we care for, but also in ourselves. As you know, the body is in constant use of energy, even at rest. The body needs energy to maintain life, resist diseases, and adapt to changing situations. It's at work even when we're resting. Digestion, heart pumping, respiratory muscles, etc. is all ongoing even though we're at rest. Stress is the body's physical, mental, and chemical reaction to circumstances that frighten, excite, confuse, endanger, or irritate us. Stressors are those events or situations that cause the body stress. Specific physical, mental, and chemical changes occur in the body that may affect how the person deals with stressors. The stress reaction is the term we use to describe the way the body responds to stressors. It's also known as the fight or flight response. Now, each time a stressor occurs, the body responds in a variety of ways. The stress reaction is systemic, meaning that it occurs through the whole body. Circulation speeds up quickly to deliver oxygen to muscles. Sugar is released from body stores into the bloodstream to provide quick energy. Blood clotting mechanisms are accelerated to ready the body in case the person's wounded. Muscles tighten so that the person can fight or flee. Breathing gets faster and it becomes more shallow because the body needs the oxygen, and also blood flow to the brain increases to increase alertness and awareness. Digestion slows or stops due to blood being diverted from the digestive organisms to the muscles and to the brain. So this fight or flight response, or the stress reaction response, was much more useful in primitive times when there were real threats in the environment that we had to react to. It helped man to avoid those dangerous situations or to respond to those situations if it was necessary. Today, all that energy really has no place to go, and instead can suppress the immune system and contribute to stress-related health problems. Stressors occur regularly, and they have a cumulative effect, or they build on each other. Stress is a contributing factor to many health problems and physical and emotional ailments as well. People are usually aware of the major stresses of life, but not so aware of all the small stresses we deal with day in and day out that can contribute to health-related problems. It's important to recognize the number of stresses a person encounters each day. It's also important to be able to recognize the signs that an individual is not managing stress well. As we said, when the body's under stress, there's a diversion of blood from the digestive tract to the large muscles, and that causes a slowing or stoppage of digestion. So digestion reacts to stress by slowing or stopping. Energy that's normally used for digestion can be channeled into dealing with the stress by halting the digestive process. These changes in digestion then can lead to stomach or eating problems. Some people overeat, especially in the form of simple carbohydrates, those comfort foods that we like to say, and that can exacerbate the digestive issues. Some people stop eating completely, which leads to nutrient deprivation. Stress can affect normal sleeping patterns. Some people will respond to stress by sleeping too much. Other people will have difficulty sleeping, or have insomnia, have difficulty going to sleep or staying asleep. The sleep deprivation causes various problems. When a person has trouble sleeping as a result of stress, it can cause a whole host of additional problems. They'll have decreased mental functioning, it reduces your reaction time, it makes you more irritable, and it also decreases your immune system. So obtaining enough sleep and being well rested is an important way of managing stress. Some signs that an individual is not sleeping well is they take a lot of naps during the day. You might find the individual asking for caffeine throughout the day, increasing their caffeine intake, sort of adjusting to the fact that they haven't slept well. You might see the person not change into daytime clothing or stay in their comfy nighttime clothes. You might see the person eating late at night, which also interferes with getting a good night's sleep. The individual may refuse to take their sleeping medications, or taking new medications may interfere with their sleep. And having the TV, the radio, the computer on late at night is a sign that the individual is not sleeping well. And I think that the new term for that is binge watching TV. So binge watching TV may be a sign that the person's not getting enough sleep. And the person may be complaining of pain. This is chronic pain, or pain that doesn't have a good explanation. Let's talk about that pain a little bit more. When we're under stress, the muscles in our body become tense. And if that tension is not relieved, that rigidity and soreness may occur, and that may cause pain. This is especially seen in the neck, the upper back, the shoulders, and the lower back. Some ways to manage that pain would be frequent stretches, take stretching breaks. Back massage is a helpful tool, and also to try to maintain good body posture. Another not so great way that we tend to manage stress might be the use or misuse of alcohol, food, and drugs. People use alcohol and drugs often to lift their mood, to boost their energy, or to lift their depression. Substance abuse, that is the illegal use of drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes in a way that harms oneself or others, is one way that sometimes people react to stress. People often engage in substance abuse because they think that it's going to make them feel better or to help them cope. Overindulgence, that is doing something to excess, usually because we think it's going to make us feel better, is another way we might react to stress. Excessive shopping, excessive eating, those kinds of things, we tend to do that to think that we're going to make up for the stress that we're under and to try to feel better. These actions may help temporarily, but by not dealing directly with the stress itself, they may actually make the situation worse. And some overindulgent behaviors are not healthy for us. They'll have negative health outcome, or they make us feel guilty, which then just adds to the stress. Now we have stress because we feel guilty. Anger is a natural emotion caused by many things. It could be caused by disease, it can be caused by pain, it can be caused by fear or frustration, loneliness, loss of independence. There are a whole lot of things that might make someone angry, and that's a normal human response. People who are under high levels of stress may be more angry than others, may express it either very aggressively or they may not express it at all and internalize it. People who are angry from stress may be described as being on edge and react aggressively to new or threatening situations, things that you don't think would normally provoke that kind of a response. Anger or aggressive feelings may be misdirected at individuals who are not responsible. Realizing the true source of frustration and dealing with the situation positively can help the individual overcome their anger and aggressive feelings. Angry and aggressive feelings may be misdirected at people who are not to blame. Realizing the true source of the frustration and dealing with the situation positively can help the person to overcome their angry and aggressive feelings. People who ignore warning signs of being overly stressed can begin to feel burnout. What are some signs that the individual is under so much stress that they're in danger of burning out? Well, one is fatigue, constant fatigue, even though they've had a good night's sleep. Another is forgetfulness. The person may seem sad or disappointed, may seem isolated or withdraw from other people. Cynicism is a sign of burnout, or a loss of a sense of humor. Other signs that a person may be burnt out or not be able to be effective any longer in their job are showing anger or abuse toward clients or residents, arguing with the supervisor about assignments, having poor relationships with coworkers or residents, complaining about the job and complaining about their responsibilities, feeling tired even when they're rested, and having a difficult time focusing on the job and focusing on their clients. One of the best things we can do to help manage stress is to have a good, solid, healthy diet. How a person eats affects how well the body will function, and that can determine how well you can manage stress. Now, this doesn't have to be complicated. Overeating simple carbohydrates, those comfort foods, will abnormally raise your sugar, and that can lead to fatigue and weakness. So the convenience of fast foods is offset by the caloric value and overabundance of fat. So a caregiver should avoid foods that aggravate that stress reaction. Increase the body's store of needed nutrients, and that will help handle stressful situations. As we said, stress is the body's reaction to change and stressors in the environment. When under stress, the body produces the hormone adrenaline. Now, adrenaline provides the body with the necessary energy, fueled by the proper nutrition, to cope with new or changing situations. But adrenaline causes increased heart rate, increased perspiration, causes the body to feel flushed, and causes that sort of butterfly feeling in your stomach. It may be demonstrated as repetitive tapping or fidgetiness. Now, caffeine and alcohol can have negative effects on the body, especially when under stress. When consumed in excess, a person is submitting their body to a stress sort of seesaw reaction by alternating between caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine is a stimulant. Too much caffeine affects the body just as stress affects the body. It's found in coffee, tea, sodas, and not just the brown sodas, even those that look more innocent. It can actually exacerbate or worsen the stress symptoms. So, avoiding caffeine when you're under stress is a good idea. Alcohol is a depressant, but it also aggravates stress. Now, temporarily, alcohol may give you a reprieve from the stressful feelings that you have, but as it wears off, you end up feeling worse. So eventually you need more and more alcohol because your body builds up a tolerance for it. And so in order to get that reprieve, you need to increase your alcohol consumption. And then when you wake up the next day, you need more caffeine in order to pick yourself back up again. So you end up with a seesaw of caffeine to pick yourself up and alcohol to slow yourself down. So, as I said, one of the best things we can do to help manage the stress in our daily lives is to have a good, healthy diet. Choosing healthy, nourishing foods is one of the best ways to improve stress levels and our physical and emotional health. When our clients are well nourished and under less stress, they're able to better cope with their own physical and emotional problems. The USDA has developed this My Plate to help people maintain a healthy diet. As you can see, half of the plate is made up of fruits and vegetables. You want to have about 5 to 7 different kinds of fruits and vegetables a day. The other half of the plate is divided between grains and proteins. In the grain group, we want half of those grains to be whole grains, to come from wheat, rice, oats, cornmeal, or barley. The whole grains contain both the bran and the germ as well as the endosperm, whereas refined grains have just the endosperm. So we want to try to keep half of those grains to being whole grains. Now, with respect to protein, we want to choose seafood at least a couple of times a week in place of our meat or poultry. Choosing seafood that's high in oils and low in mercury are our best choices, like salmon or trout. Lean meats and poultry, eggs, and egg whites can be consumed daily. Plant-based proteins are encouraged to be eaten more often because they tend to be low in saturated fat and high in fiber. All milk products and foods made from milk that retain their calcium content, like yogurt or cheese, are part of the dairy category. Most dairy choices should be fat-free or low-fat. Milk and yogurt contain less sodium than most cheeses, so those are a good choice. Exercise can help the stress reaction in 2 ways. First of all, it provides us with a physically fit body, which we are better than able to withstand the effects of stress, and it gives the person more energy and endurance to handle stress. Also, exercise has a calming effect that lasts long after the person has stopped their exercise. Aerobic exercises, such as running and swimming and biking, can produce a relaxed mental state due to the release of endorphins. Endorphins are those chemicals released by the brain during exercise. They're the happy chemicals that reduce stress and depression. Non-aerobic exercises like yoga and stretching can produce the same effect by eliciting deep breathing and a relaxed mental state. Again, exercise doesn't have to be complicated. You could start by walking. Almost anybody can walk, and it doesn't require any special equipment. Other forms of exercise like swimming or tennis and racquetball, they do require special equipment, or you have to have access to a pool. Jogging, aerobic dancing, bicycling, all of those are good general body conditioning exercises. Really, you should first start by consulting a healthcare professional before you begin your exercise program to make sure that the kind of exercise you've chosen is appropriate for you. In addition to regular exercise, stretching a few times a day is also encouraged. If you experience any pain during stretching, then you should stop and also consult your healthcare professional. So let's describe a few simple stretching exercises that you can do every day to help relieve stress. And Jess here is going to be our model. She's going to show us how to do that. So let's start with shoulder circles. Now, shoulder circles are done to relieve muscle tension in the neck, the shoulders, and the upper back. And what you want to do is circle your shoulders backward in a wide arc, hold a few seconds, and then relax. And repeat that 5 to 10 times. Okay. Next are neck exercises, which can relieve tension in the neck and the upper back. What you're going to do is slowly bring your chin down to your chest, hold for a second, then bring your head back to center. Then slowly bring your head back, look up to the ceiling and hold for a second, and come back to center. Next, bend your head to the right, your right ear to your shoulder, and come back to center, and then repeat on the left side, left ear to shoulder and back to center. And you're going to repeat that circuit 5 to 10 times. Another exercise you can do is the elbow press to relieve muscle tension in the middle back. What you do is stand and bring your elbows out to the side at chest level and press them gently backward to a maximum stretch. Hold a few seconds and relax. Repeat that 5 to 10 times. Neck retraction can be used to relieve tension in the neck. You're going to slide the chin straight back, keeping your head and ears level. If this is done correctly, then you should feel like you have a double chin. Hold that for a few seconds and relax. Repeat 5 to 10 times. Okay? The lower back stretch relieves tension in the lower back. You're going to stand and press your palms on your lower back for support and gently bend upper and lower back backwards. Hold that for a few seconds and then relax. Repeat that 5 to 10 times. The reality is that people tend to respond to most of life's situation in the same way each time that situation presents itself. We tend to respond to situations without really giving it a lot of thought, but old habits can be broken. The tendency to react to life situations in exactly the same way every time the situation occurs is called reactive behavior. The belief that nothing new can be done and there's no point in trying to have a different response to that situation is referred to as learned helplessness. But by being proactive, we can learn new and better ways of coping and better habits for reacting to certain situations. So how can we learn to be more proactive? Human beings are responsible for our own lives, and behavior is a function of decisions, not conditions. So people can learn to have and take the initiative and responsibility to change how they react to stressful situations. You have the freedom to choose a new and entirely different response for every situation that occurs. People often find new ways of dealing with the same old stressful situations by viewing each situation as a chance to develop a new and creative solution. People can learn new strategies, new ways of coping with stress, and then draw on those strategies the next time a stressful situation occurs. The reality is our lives are stressful, and most stress is unavoidable. But what we can change is how we react to the stress. People can learn new ways of coping with stress and engage those strategies the next time stressful situations occur. So what are some ways that we might be able to cope with stress? Well, first of all, let's give yourself credit for your strengths and the accomplishments that you've had. Sometimes we're very high on the critical end and not so great on the positive end when it comes to evaluating ourselves. Something you can do is to plan ahead. Think before you act and to not procrastinate. Be flexible. Sometimes things get in the way of accomplishing our goals, but know that we have the ability to handle that. You want to strive for excellence, but not perfection. Sometimes being excellent is good enough, and perfect is not attainable. You want to set clear goals and then work toward them. Set your priorities and visualize successful achievement of those priorities. One thing that's very important is to accept that you don't and never will know all of the answers. Very often what's required is to talk less and to listen more. Be positive and avoid negative people. Stop those negative thoughts about yourself. Try to think positive thoughts. A very important way to manage stress is to maintain a sense of humor. Try to manage your time efficiently. You want to get plenty of rest, get your exercise, slow deep breaths, and relax. It helps sometimes to watch a funny movie. A support group of friends can be invaluable in managing stress. It also may help to keep a personal journal. Best of all, try to stay optimistic. Some things that can help in coping. One thing, complimenting other people. It doesn't cost anything, and it does actually make you feel better. Try to enjoy the world around you. Enjoy nature. Enjoy art. Maybe think of exercise less as something that you have to do, but something that you might actually enjoy doing. If so inclined, pray. Meditation can be helpful. Learning a new joke, telling a new joke, sharing a joke. YouTube videos can be really positive. Smile often, and this is one that's especially for myself, and maybe most importantly, learn how to say no to avoid overcommitting. Schedule time for yourself and for relaxation. Remember, it takes a village to handle stress, and stress can be overwhelming when you feel like you're alone. There are a lot of people around who can help you, so consider sharing how you're feeling with your supervisor, your family, or your friends. Join a support group or at your place of worship. Share how you're feeling with your doctor or with someone who works in a mental health agency, or take advantage of a hotline. Reach out and you'll realize that we're all working to manage our stressors. If we do, then we help ourselves and those we touch.